Never have I ever used a landline phone. June 2024, Oxford. Hello. Devi pulled at the receiver of the landline. Who phoned on landlines these days? It was a quirk of Corpus Christi. There were a lot of them. Even after a year of being there, staying with cousins of her mother, she spent a lot of time in the common rooms, and a lot of students received calls from home on them. Devi half expected to see other relics from the past too, like dial-up internet and CD mini-discs. But this was not a call from home. The voice was soft but determined. The caller had, apparently, been transferred from the operator at the college's admin, and it crossed Devi's mind that it might be a call from the makers of Midsummer Murders wishing her to be an extra in a retro episode where Nokia 3310 phones were a mere twinkle in the eye of a finished designer's eye. Hello, Devi. The words coming to her ear were controlled, almost too controlled, as though their owner was having to get their emotions under control. Ben is here with me. Or, at least he was. Devi's heart began to beat faster, as she fought to master her own voice. Oh yes, he's gone back to college. Devi glanced out of the common room window. A lawn and oral blocked even the road and another block of colleges. It was impossible to see Balial from the window. But he would be there, worrying over the news. He had come to her room to tell her that morning. It was funny that he had gone to her afterwards. Did he tell you? Devi felt her heart pound as she waited an eternity for the answer. Even though she knew it anyway. And we carried out a plan, came the surprising reply. Do you have time for me to talk, Devi? Subconsciously, Devi curled her finger, as many a student in the past had done, around the coils of the wire between the handset and the keypad of the telephone. It wasn't a rotary landline, at least, her brain was telling her, because she did not want to hear what she was being told. We will be undoubtedly called for interview, the caller told her, and I need to know some things. Wait, Neil, Devi interrupted. What was it you did? And why is he back at college? You think that, even though we got married, Ben was going to stay with me? The knife hit Devi's chest to hear the words so bluntly told her. But, that was Neil. And she was used to her by now. Married? Oh, don't give me that, Neil scolded. Ben's father has lost everything, and he has no other choice but to remain in the country in order to apply for assistance through the American embassy. But to do that, he needs residency, and he needs British citizenship. This is a mere shortcut. A long pause followed this. Both women thinking about Neil's word. Married? We need to practice the most likely questions for the immigration interview. And I didn't want to leave a digital trail. So I'm in my father's office calling on this antique. So, Ben's going to return to your house? Because he now has no money, and can't pay for his rooms, Neil confirmed. And when he does that, I will be staying in my dad's rooms while he is in Botswana. And it all seemed so wrapped up. All questions with an answer, except ... Devi loved Ben, and she thought he loved her, and he had married her, Neil Thompson, who she, well, not hated so much as Dash. Oh, come on Msenro, don't lie to the audience. Devi's overall feeling towards Neil is hatred, having traveled through grudging indifference, annoyance, anger, loathing and settling on detestation. Incandescence was the step beyond hatred. And Devi's knuckles were well on the way to that emotional station. It had begun with Paxton, who had interpreted Neil's coldness and standoffishness as playing hard to get. Devi had seen him coming out of Caltech's academics quarters while she had visited with Kamala one time, and had seen her fend him off after he had tried to kiss her. Narcissist tactics. She had told Eleanor and Fabiola this when she had recounted the story. They didn't believe Devi, and would not believe her now. Now that Neil the Ice Queen the J. Thompson had pulled the exact same tactic, distancing herself, after a grand gesture. The bitch. So, what do you need? You know Ben better than anyone. I'm putting a list of potential immigration questions into an envelope and will hand deliver over to Corpus, but they'll not let someone from the other place in here. I'm a campus brat, remember? My father works here. It'll be with you in 10. And then, in Devi's ear, a buzzing, indicating that Neil had put the phone down. She put down the receiver, 2. A cold chill stole over her chest and she stuck her hand out towards the table. She and Ben were split up. It had happened 3 months ago. But she had never asked, though she had desperately wanted to ask, whether he had kept in touch with Neil. But, kept in touch he had, clearly, deciding to forego Columbia to go to one of the oldest colleges in the world. Balliol produced lawyers who worked pro bono on international human rights cases. Married people were coming in now, pushing the big, oak door back. Gentle laughter and altogether frivolous merriment overcame them as they entered the room, seemingly carefree and light of woes. The room felt hot, and she turned to look out of the window. Why did she do this? Paxton had broken his heart over her, having saved her when she had run away from Caltech, saving her from being discredited from Sherman Oaks Academy and returning her for her exams. And Neil had barely said anything to him before he went back to Arizona. Did she have no feelings at all, or did she just not care, and considered her actions to have no consequences? All she cared about was her Cambridge offer. And she had, clearly, kept in touch with Ben, behind Debbie's back, and swooped in now. Ben's mother and father had lost all their money, having been sued, and were living in a little house towards, which Neil can't cross the street. Thompson must have found out about, using it to her advantage, to break them up again. Even though Ben and Debbie had been broken up for 12 weeks and 11 days. All right, 17 hours and 57 minutes. She put her hand flat next to the telephone. And there Debbie was, having also foregone her dream of Princeton, which, her brain was telling her, was where she now desperately wanted to be. Then, Debbie's legs went from under her as she turned from the telephone table, and she collapsed onto the Axminster carpet.